Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
On the line with us right now, he's going to be at the 17th Annual Hurricane Party, Saturday, May 18th.
There you go.
You can get your tickets at drinkatwestend.com. Again, that's May 18th. Steve Jackson from the Pietasters is on the line. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. How are you guys?
Man, we're really good. I really do appreciate your time. And in preparation for you being on the show, we're deep diving, reading. And I found a tidbit that I was surprised I'd never heard before. And Tom and I were kind of like freaking out about this because we're also huge Howard Stern fans. And I think I remember a time when James Brown was on Howard Stern. And was he lamenting about how he thought you guys were like his favorite backing band? Was that like a real thing that happened?
It's hard to believe it, and I still have to, pinch myself remembering it. But yeah, we backed him up in the early 2000s. He did a series of holiday shows, and Lenny Kravitz's band played one show, and Dave Matthews' band played in Philadelphia, and good old Pietasters got to back him in D.C. and a few weeks later, he was on Howard Stern, and Howard was trying to get him to talk about the other bands, and he kept going back to his boys, the Pietasters. So it really is quite amazing.
But it's freaking amazing to work with. I mean, like when I think of a soul band, which, yes, you guys can play that. When I think of like true rock and roll and just Motown and all of that, yes, you guys can cover all of that. But how do the Pietasters, a band that I've seen, a band that, a traditional, third wave ska band, how do you guys back up? How do you become the backing band for, I'll just say it, the greatest soul, singer of all time?
We had been on tour in Europe, and every night after the concert, we'd go out to the bus and listen to Live at the Apollo and fall asleep, and then we got home, and about a week later, the local alternative station called, and we thought they were pranking us and said, this is what's going to happen, and Mr. Brown doesn't want to bring his band. And we said, well, of course we can do it, and we sent some karaoke versions overnight to his people in Augusta, Georgia, and a few days later, he and his guitar player were at this little studio that we worked at, and we learned when Mr. Brown moves like this, we play this part of the song, and when he points over here, we play the bridge, and it was just incredible. And what a great entertainer. What a great guy.
Well, I want to ask you about James Brown. How interesting of a human is James Brown in person? Because we see him in interviews, and he lives such a interesting life that I can't imagine how he is in person.
Well, I think by the time we met him, the most interesting parts of his life, he had settled down quite a bit, and he was just a genuine, obviously lots of charisma, and but a real nice guy and a good teacher, and told us an off-color joke to get the night rolling, and we practiced for a couple hours, and then he left, and his guitar player hung around, and the next night we were at the Capital One Arena, and we're backstage, and he insisted that we were in the dressing room with him, and all these, Billy Corrigan and these big rock and roll luminaries were coming to pay homage to Mr. Brown, and they all walked in, and this, a bunch of weird ska band guys are in the dressing room with him. Just, it was surreal, and he just really is a nice guy, and was very fatherly, and an amazing performer. His leg was banged up, and he rode out on the stage in a golf cart with a leg brace on, and we were vamping on Sex Machine. And as soon as he got off the golf cart, he ripped off the brace and started dancing around on one leg, and it was like he was 20 years old.
Crazy. So, Steve, before we started the interview, I know you got the wrong number, so we were waiting for you to call in. Then we were apologizing for you getting the wrong information, and you're like, it was not your fault, and I didn't want you to think that I was that we were didn't care about your time. And what's funny is every musician we talk to, and this kind of Steve O said this one time about skateboarders, professional skateboarders or people that are good at skateboarding.
Yeah.
He's like, well, there's one thing they have in common is they worked their ass off to be this good, and they grinded it out until they were, and there's no way
what blows my
to
mind
do this without being that.
What blows my mind about Steve too is like it's a 10-person band. I mean, you're doing it with like a gang.
Yeah, and then so there's no way to become successful as a musician in a band without grinding and working your ass off for years before anything takes hold. And so every musician that I know is a salt of the earth, humble, like great work ethic person.
Like a regular person.
Yeah. Because of where they are in life, it means that you worked your ass off. And so therefore, I kind of know the type of person you are. So you think I'm right about that? Is like most musicians, like especially that achieve success, they all work their ass off.
Yes, it's very true. And when you're in a band with 10 people, you've chosen the worst business model there is out there. So it just means that we're even more pure of soul because we're not in it for the money, because anything divided by 10 is 0, as you know. And but yeah, I got the wrong number, and I was losing my mind here. I thought you guys would think I was big timing you and ignoring the call, but
no.
We love Florida, and we can't wait to get back down there. And this is such a great lineup. We're really excited to be a part of this show.
Well, Steve, speaking of like working your ass off, and like in the early '90s, you basically bought an old school bus and then took off on tour, which on paper, it sounds like an adventure that I want my sons to go through one day, because what a life experience to buy an old school bus and go on tour throughout the country. Although if they told me that was their plan, I'd be very upset because I'd be like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, because this is going to be horrible and it's going to be a lot of work. So how was it for you?
Well, back then there was no internet and no YouTube and social media. So, getting in a bus or a van and driving around in circles was that was your social media, and that was the way to spread the word. And we've had several buses, and I've driven them all, and I've got a couple million miles under my belt, and it's a stupid way to make a living, and I would not encourage my kids to do it, but it's a hell of a lot of fun, and especially when you get stories like, playing with James Brown and touring with Joe Strummer and the Bosstones and Reverend Horton Heat and, you name it. You can't buy that kind of fun.
Well, I mean, you got to go on tour with the Bosstones in 95, 96 with Impression That I Get. I mean, like that, it doesn't really get any bigger as far as like, I know a lot of people, that was their introduction to ska. I hate to say that. I'm 47.
The most popular time of ska.
Well, in recent times, I mean, like I had heard of ska before that, but then again, you had too, Tom. You were punk rock guys, and if you were punk rock guys, you knew what ska was way before it hit radio. So what was it like going? I mean, you're with the biggest ska band in the world, running around, North America, Europe. I mean, how long did you tour with the Bosstones?
Yeah, we, up until the last few years, we've been playing shows with those guys. They took us under their wing. They're our big brothers, and we were about to break up, and Dickie showed up in Providence, Rhode Island, and bought us a pitcher of gin and tonics, and that's the first time I've ever had a pitcher of gin and tonics. But he said,
I didn't know it came in a pitcher.
Yeah. Well, it's a different kind of party,
I thought it was water, but it convinced me, and he said, we've got this album coming out, and we want to take you on the road, and shortly thereafter we signed with Hellcat, Epitaph, Tim Armstrong's label, and it was incredible, and we got to learn from the best, and we drove around Europe and America and Canada, and it just, being on those shows was amazing, and it was, Beck had a big album, and they were doing shows with Beck on the off days when we were on tour with them, so it's just a crazy, surreal experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
That's killer, man.
Didn't Dickie Barrett convince you to not, was there a time you were gonna give it up? I read that, and he kind of convinced you to keep going.
Yeah, that was Providence. We were playing pretty much farewell shows. We were winding it down, and he showed up and said, "No, come on, give it a chance. We've got this record." They had been building their name and reputation for years, and we knew them and we knew of them, but nobody expected ska to hit as big as it did when Impression That I Get hit, and No Doubt hit. Sublime was running things at the time. So he saved us, and we wouldn't be here this day if it wasn't for Dickie and those guys bringing us out on the road with them.
Is it true that in Gainesville one time you were maced in the face mid-song?
Oh, boy. Yeah. That was, we were canceled before anybody knew what canceled was, and somebody took offense to some lyrics and was virtue signaling to some woman that he probably never got to get with, and thought that assaulting the band would be a good way to get over with her, and so we had to show them a thing or two while they played some instrumental music, and it was not my happiest moment, but
sure.
we
but
got plenty of great memories of Florida, though. It's such a great state. You can tour for 10 days and never have to drive more than 2 or 3 hours, and it's just a great state to tour in, and
it's good
always
to hear
has
that.
been and always.
It's really good to hear somebody say that, because honestly, Steve, like most people that call our show, they're getting to Florida, or they're skipping Florida, or they're not coming here because we're wild animals and people hate us so much.
Steve,
man,
I'm laughing because this person's listening to the Pietasters.
No, he didn't like the lyrics of the song, which is art, and he sprayed Steve in the face. Yes.
He's like, "What? Hold on. What did Steve say for the Pietasters and their ska song?"
Yes.
They said some sexist comment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spray him in the face with the bass.
Yeah.
Who even thinks that way?
Well, it's like if you take the song "Date Rape" by Sublime literally, and you go up and you start slapping, the lead singer. Yeah, you start slapping him. Yeah.
He's celebrating date rape. I mean, that's insane. Oh, why were they even at the show anyway? I'm sorry.
I don't know why you would pay money to be offended, but hey, look at what people do now to be offended.
All right.
Oh, sure, without a doubt.
Steve, last question, and this is it, I promise. In your opinion, what's more important, the trumpet or the trombone in ska?
Oh, man. Well, Carlos is going to hate me, but the trombone is and maybe that's a personal relationship I have with Jeremy, our trombone player, but I still think sax is the most rock and roll of the wood or the horn instruments,
sure.
but I think trombone beats trumpet.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, I will agree with that, even though I played trumpet when I was in middle school and my ska
you know
band.
what's up. You know what's up.
Yeah, but the trombone is because
he was in a ska band called the Heterosexual Lesbians, and
Here's-
he would skank to the beat, and he'd hold his little trumpet, and he has checkerboard socks on, and he skank.
Everybody knows first.
Pick it up.
The saxophone trumps everybody because you could play it the coolest.
Yeah, it is the coolest.
But then second is the trombone because of the slide.
Yeah, the length of it. It changes size.
Yeah. We got this little stubby trumpet, and we got the back and forth, but that's it. With the slide, it just better.
looks cooler.
Or the side sax, So if you're gonna have two brass instruments, saxophone, trombone.
It's like the trumpet. I would take trumpet players, Steve. I would take trumpet players more seriously if they had two trumpets in their hands, like one in each hand. If they had one in each hand, then it makes more sense.
Anyway, and then El Jefe started playing old trumpet with no effects.
That helped you. That helped your cause.
Yeah, but it was more punk rock than ska.
Flea from the Chili Peppers. He plays trumpet. Helps your cause.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve. We got on a tangent there.
Yeah, May 18th.
No, I didn't mean to cast any aspersions on you.
It's the 17th annual Hurricane Party. Drinkatwestend.com for tickets. May 18th, 2024. Steve Jackson, the Pietasters. Thank you so much for your time, sir. We're sorry about the hiccups earlier, and we can't wait to see you in Sanford.
Thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right,
to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, too. Take care. That is Steven Jackson of the band The Pietasters.
I was talking about how all these guys are down to earth and they're just like
this guy was, because I think he called us like 500 times.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go in there and finagle our phone lines or something. Something's wrong.
What was wrong? They had the wrong number.
But then it was going to voicemail, and sometimes it will kick you to voicemail if somebody else is calling.
It's hard because if you have the passion for music, right?
Yeah.
To get famous doing it or to make
I wanted
famous.
That's what I wanted.
But
I wanted to be a famous musician.
But to even make a living doing it, I mean, and we've talked to Tiffany about this before because she wanted.
She did. She did it.
She wanted to make a living making music or performing, and she did it.
10 full years.
You know, no, like she didn't get famous doing it, but she was able to find regular gigs and turn it into a business and stuff like that. But it's like building a small business. It's just going to take the grind, and you need the passion for the music for the grind. But these guys,
it's a passion grind.
Touring is an insane grind. Like the amount of work.
But it's fun.
Loading in,
like you
loading
wouldn't
out.
do it now.
Well, playing is fun.
But
But
I think there are guys, like the way he describes it, I watched a lot of interviews with him this morning, and the way he describes it, you can kind of tell that he's one of those guys that enjoys the journey of going around and seeing new things.
Yeah.
And, you know,
it's fun when you're young, though,
yeah,
too. Like,
that's what I was going to say.
A lot of these guys, I mean, I'm sure
I don't want to be away from my family now.
Yeah, well, not even that, but the load in, load out, at every single club, and then when
you
you're
got
on
people
stage.
to do that.
If you get big enough,
Yeah.
but a lot of these mid-tier bands and stuff, like they have to do a lot of sleep in uncomfortable places, things like that. Like it's just that grind is what makes you or turns you into the person you are in the future. But you have to go through that.
Steve from
come out on the other
Pietasters is my favorite tier musician, and I'll explain. It's the musician that's still DIY. Does his own call-ins. That was definitely from his own studio and or office, his home.
Yeah.
That was, and he's super famous. He's back to James Brown. He knows all the famous people. He could probably connect the dots with anybody in reggae or ska music. But if you saw him, you'd never know who it was.
No, yeah.
And that's the dream, right? It's the guy where he's done okay, he's made his living, but if he wants to escape the weird part of it, which is the hey man, I love you, like that he can do that.
Yeah, you definitely want all the stories without, and then just want a regular life, which I feel like almost 90% of bands, even popular bands, no one really recognizes the members of them,
I do. I recognize them everywhere.
Yeah, but I guess if you saw,
I was sitting in the Vortex in Atlanta with Andrea, and I was hungover, and I looked over, and I'm like, that's Bill from Mastodon over there eating with his dad.
Yeah, I guess I'm totally out of it because I couldn't. I could tell you what Fat Mike from NoFX looks like or El Jefe.
Do you think you'd notice him though? You may not.
I noticed his dress. This guy's got
look at this fat
blue
guy's
hair
got a
on his
negligee
dress.
on.
So, but I couldn't. If the bass player from Bad Religion, I wouldn't know what he looked like. Even the lead singer or whatever.
I know what the bass player looks like of Bad Religion, but I don't think I would. Notice him.
If Taylor Swift was
Tall.
at Publix, and had her makeup off,
What's
and
she doing?
Dressed regular,
What's
the
she
jeans
doing?
and a
What's she
t-shirt,
buying?
I would never notice
What's
her.
she getting? Rotisserie? Moho rotisserie. She getting a moho rotisserie. What else? What's she getting?
She is.
What do you think she eats at Publix? Does she eat?
Yeah,
Taylor Swift looks like her poops are very like a little dog. Like she poops like a little dog.
like a rabbit, like little
Small, like a
tiny
goat.
pellets.
Like a goat.
Yeah.
Like each one is exactly the same size, perfect. Like a holiday chocolate.
Yeah. She's also I bet
she
she's
like
a
super tall.
super weirdo because just her life experience. How could she not be?
She looks like she laughs like this.
Like people and she's good at being like she's great at marketing, but
She's the best.
And the reality is there's no way that she is not a super weirdo compared to us and everybody listening to this.
Yeah, we're not being mean. We're just saying comparative.
Because think about the reality of her life. It's bizarre, and no one will understand it except for the ultra rich and famous.
Have you seen the
it's
meme
bizarre
of
life.
her flight tracker where it just shows her plane going everywhere?
like
Is that real, or is that just something somebody made up?
No, of course, yeah. So she's flying all around the world at all times. I mean, she's $1 billion brand, and her her company, her worth is billions at this point. You know, like she is the biggest influencer on the planet, or one of the biggest, right?
How tall is she?
And then I have no idea. But the reality of her life is so bizarre we can't even understand it, and it's weird, and it's going to slowly turn her into a weirdo, just like Madonna. There's no way out of it.
Madonna.
And she's driven crazy. Like she's obsessed with success, and that's how she got so bad. I watched her documentary.
Let me see if this will work.
Yeah, impressive person.
Let's see here.
But he's a weirdo.
Come on, lady, do this. It's not gonna work. Anyway, I had Madonna comment on one of my. I commented on one of her posts, and then I got it wasn't a comment. I got a heart.
From Madonna?
From Madonna.
The social media? Which platform?
I said it was Instagram, and she said, like, she put some post up about something, and I said, look at you, fudge ass. And I got a heart.
Oh, that's a bot.
Is it a bot?
Well,
yeah.
Also, there's no way she does her own social media.
Yeah, but I said, look at you, fudge ass. And I got a like. I was like, what? I told Andrea, I go, look at that. I go, Madonna liked my comment. I said, look at you, fudge ass. And she gave me a heart. I can't believe it. And I was just trying to be, titillating. All right, here, let's do some voicemails and close out this particular show.
What's up, Coochie Cutters? I've been listening for a long time, and we've heard from just about every family member multiple times on the show, but haven't really heard from Tom's sister very much. Does she got any cool old Tom Band stories she'd like to share? See ya.
I think that I agree with this gentleman. I think maybe you've been hiding her because she has a bunch of great dirt on you that you don't want to tell the listeners.
I've told the listeners all the
You are
dirt.
hiding your sister away.
No. My sister, I see my sister all the time. She lives here.
I got to spend the day with her at the Air T&D years ago when we built out the furniture. You were, I don't know, doing your pacing and overseeing while me and Jen were building everything.
Also, my sister also thinks now I'm weak, and then I haven't kept up on mechanics or even, I didn't really know it to begin with, but I used to like mess around with my dirt bike and my jet ski and know a lot more than I do now. And now I just throw money at it. Professionals.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And
I'm
my
going to do
sister
that with my electric scooter. I'm this close.
So my sister rebuilding her entire four-wheel engine, engine or four-wheeler, and then like.
So what do you drive over there to
stand
over her shoulder?
She's adjusting the valves and things like. I never got that far. And then so now, and I don't know how to do any of that stuff now.
So you're a little shamed.
So she's like, look how weak you are now.
Is that why you've been avoiding her, because she's more like?
And then also she wanted me to the tire came off on her four-wheeler, and then she saw this thing on YouTube where you
put
like
the gas in it, you light it on fire.
Yeah, you spray WD-40, you blow it up back onto the rim.
I've been wanting to do that.
And then she's spraying it in there, cigarette in her mouth, and then she's like, light the lighter and blow it back on the rim. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm out. I'm gonna blow my.
Just blow your Apple Watch off. You'll be all right.
I'm like, this is not worth because and it really it's like I just don't want to.
The chat room just chiming in. Goes to Manu Bull in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. No, you'll like this one. Or YouTube at Tom and Dan Live. Goes says, the director for the T&D documentary said Tom's sister was hot during the commentary track of the documentary, and Tom threatened his life if he ever said it again. I don't remember that. But I do remember Kirk saying, hey, Tom's sister's pretty hot. She is hot. Did I say that?
That was during the what?
During the documentary, the Tom and Dan documentary.
Commentary, behind the scenes.
We still haven't done a Twitch YouTube watch through where we watch the commentary and just make fun of it. We should do it. But I remember Kirk saying that your sister was hot.
Yeah, I don't know what.
He's probably sneaking some peeks.
I mean,
I bet he spent we should go back and look at
the
the
raw
raw tapes.
She doesn't look like me.
I have the raw tapes. We should go back and see how long Kirk interviewed. What if we came back and he interviewed your sister for like 8 hours? You know what I mean? Like, what if we come back and it's like, he did a tight 4 with me, 4 hours with you, 4 with my wife, 4 with your wife, 12 hours with Jen, your sister.
My sister and my brother look like my family more than me. Like,
Yeah, who do you look like? You're the milkman's boy.
I think I got.
You're little Scotty Witherose. Well, that was always there was always a rumor in my house growing up that I was the son of Scotty Witherow, who was a red-haired police officer that I think that touched my mother inappropriately one or two times.
I hope we find him and it's just like a leprechaun man. I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, y'all want to say hi to Dan and his new dad is a leprechaun. Say yeah. All right.
Did that guy? He should be able to sue all the T-shirt companies that have been making.
that drew the leprechaun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's got the. Yeah. He'll just
No, but it's in the thing.
Yeah,
he
just
wrote
call
it.
Mo. You gotta call Mo.
The news had proved that it's his art.
Yeah, get a hold
It's
of
on
Mo.
TV.
Well, no, I think he granted it. He's like, hey, you can use this.
No, but I'm sure like people are making money off of his art.
Well, I mean, like people steal everything now, right?
Yeah. Okay, I kind of like that.
I bought the leprechaun shirt. It hasn't come in yet.
Should we talk about the time that we?
Do you like my Bluey shirt? I got a Bluey shirt today.
What, that Bluey?
You know the kids show Bluey?
Yeah.
This is my Bluey shirt.
It is that a legitimate Bluey shirt or a knockoff?
It's a knockoff.
Okay.
It's a death metal grannies. Is the two characters grannies?
Oh, okay.
It's when the two daughters, the two, Bingo and Bluey, they dress up like grandmas.
I've never seen this show before.
Yeah, Maisie and I.
My sons watch South Park. And they have jumped to South Park. And then soon,
yeah, they're on Pornhub right now.
Rated X.
They're on X videos. I came in there earlier. You guys want to watch some New Room before we go to bed? What do you guys want to watch? Bratty Sis? No, hey, Daddy, we want to watch Bratty Sis. Okay, get in your beds. No, Maisie's such a baby, dude. We watched, she was watching Bluey, oh man, I don't know when Grannies came out, probably 5 years ago, when Bluey was like brand new.
Okay.
And it was one of the best episodes. And anyway, what were you going to say? We were going to tell a story?
Oh, I forgot what the hell I was talking about.
Everybody's talking about crying from the new Bluey. There's a new Bluey episode apparently that conservatives are saying that too many gay liberals are crying at it.
Okay,
it's about,
what is it?
It's about the family, Bluey's family, selling their house.
Okay.
And the Bluey show does have great actors, and people have gotten attached to the characters. And I think just the idea of selling the house. I haven't watched it. I'm not that invested. But I guess Christine even said that, and Christine, you can maybe give me this synopsis because I haven't watched it yet. I love the show Bluey, but I'm not it's a kid show, so I'm not gonna fire it up, right?
Yeah.
I'm not anti you firing it up, but I'm just I'm not going to.
Hold on, adults are watching this?
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, a lot of adults Bluey.
By themselves or with their kids?
I think by themselves, but mostly with their kids.
Well,
don't get it twisted. It's mostly with their kids.
Yeah, that's fine. I've watched kid stuff with my kids.
But
all
with
the time.
anything, there's
if you watch it by yourself,
there are gonna be swaths of people that watch it by themselves. Yes.
They're a weirdo.
Just like there's a lot of guys that watch the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and dress like the ponies. There's something for everybody.
They're
out there.
weirdo.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. But I think they were going to sell their home, the Bluey family, and then they decided against it. Sorry, spoiler alert. They decided against it.
All right, so what does that mean?
And that's what I told Andrea. I was like, well, what does that teach? Because Bluey always has some sort of a
conservative or liberal. What was that? What the politics be on that?
No, everything's political now. No people crying at a child show. That was the politics.
Oh,
that's
okay.
In the Bluey show, though,
do people understand what the meaning of politics is?
No, they want to make everything political. Yes.
That's strong and weak, and let me tell you, that has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah, they want to make everything politics, but
emotional, not emotional.
This particular episode, they were I guessed that they were trying to show, because I don't know if you remember this, but I remember when my family had to sell their home. We were going to sell our first home, and we're going to move to another house, and I remember it being very scary. I do remember that. I remember being sad that we had to give up the old house.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing. And I thought that's what the show was going to handle. I was like, oh, that's a good lesson for kids, right? To help them understand that it's just a thing. It's not a big deal. You have mommy and daddy. The family is not the house. We are the family, something like that. Apparently, at the end of the episode, they don't sell the house. The people that had the contract on the house decide to buy another house with a pool, and they're like, we don't like your house anymore, and they don't sell it. So I'm like, well, where's the moral? It's stupid. Like, you learn nothing. You're just going to stay there? What, you teach the kids that contracts can fall through? I hope they got penalized for backing out of that deal, right? If you backed out of my
it depends
deal,
on if you're the buyer or seller.
I'm the seller, and you're backing out of the deal, and there was nothing wrong, and you had already signed. And you want that pool house, or you got to give me $8K.
Well, yeah, then it's in there. I mean, did Bart and Crystal do your contract? If they, because they'll catch it.
They did do it.
But
I
if
used the Bart Merrick team.
If you got a Shim Sham realtor, then you could be stuck with that, and you're forced to sell.
But anyway, I thought it was lame, and like, let him move. Like, finish the moral. Let the Bluey family move to a new house, and let the kids cry about it. Like, that's you got to let them cry. If you don't, they'll end up watching South Park.
Yeah. Listen, it's hard for me to comment on a cartoon.
No, I know. You don't do cartoons.
It's a nothing to me. It's like a dream. They could sell their house and go back to it. What's a cartoon?
Let's try this one right here from our good friend Canadian Josh.
Hey, Tom and Dan, it's Canadian Josh. Dan, techie question for you, but I think it's something a lot of people will be interested in. And I realize I could Google this, or I could ironically ask AI, but I like to do it a lot more inefficient and leave a voicemail on a podcast and wait 2 to 17 days to get the answer. Anyway, Dan, when you get AI to talk back to you in that dude who kind of the voice sounds like an NPR radio guy, it's really good. He's your gay black teen intern robot or whatever it is. How do I do that? Can you tell us how we set that up? Thanks, guys. I'll hang up and listen. Love you guys. BDM for life.
Just play around with AI. Just go to it and tell it what you want it to do. I'm not doing anything special or.
Well, people don't know. Like, they just Google search AI and then a bunch of things. They're like, where's the Daniel thing?
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
How lazy are you?
Yeah, well, I don't understand.
You go to ChatGPT and on your phone, like here, it's easier this way. On your phone.
So that's a ChatGPT feature.
It is. And then see, for us, when we use it, here, let me get a new one for you.
And then it's a service you have to pay for, right? Like a monthly thing?
Yeah, it is. You just do like a normal, like I think it's like, we pay yearly here. It's not that expensive to do it, but
it's a membership through ChatGPT.
Correct.
Like through their app or whatever.
Like for this one, I've got my phone. I've got it plugged in here. There's a little button on the right-hand side of the interface, and you can actually talk to it now and ask it like anything. Let's see if it knows about the Bluey episode. Let's see. Let's see here. It hasn't been connecting lately. Can you tell me about the latest episode of Bluey, and has the show been canceled?
The latest episode of Bluey is called Granddad, where Bluey and Bingo spend the day with their granddad. It's still going strong, with new episodes being produced.
Well, there you go. Same. It was very easy on that one. But yeah, you can talk to it. I think that's also dated information because the model you're dealing with is like over a year old. So it's not going to be up to date. You know, you're not getting versions that are like up to the minute. That would be too much, I think.
Well, I wonder how it's because it's essentially just instantly scraping the internet, right?
You can get it to use Bing. You can get it to, but like sometimes you have to force it to do it.
Okay.
You know, like sometimes you have to tell it to, like you can ask the 3 most popular news stories now, and it'll find it. But then if you want up-to-the-minute information, let's say about our show, it would only be up to 2023.
Okay, that's interesting. I wonder why, because I would assume that it is somehow simultaneously live connected to the entire internet, and while you ask it a question, it is insta-searching, or has it downloaded all the information from 2023?
That's what I think it is.
Okay,
yeah.
because it can't live search.
Correct. Well, it can.
Because it would take too long.
It can in certain times. It's very inconsistent with what it can do. Like sometimes it'll search its own database. Like for instance, what it just did, it gave you incorrect information. Christine corrected it. That was like the 50th episode in season 3, Granddad by Bluey.
Okay.
So that's in the database from last year, which is what it was pulling from. But it can scrape Bing for like what's going on in, like, for instance, I was playing around with it during the Magic game. Okay.
Why Bing?
I don't, maybe they're tied into it somehow.
Okay.
I don't really question it. But I was asking it to like, tell me about Bing, or tell me about the Orlando Magic and the Cavaliers game. What's the score? Well, it was going to the old game, like 2 games ago. I finally had to get super specific with it and say, like, hey, I'm watching right now. You're wrong. It's on right now. What's the score? Then it took a lot longer to search. Then it found it and gave me the updated score.
Okay.
So you just got to play with it.
I guess with that kind of information, though, is like it's better for answering questions that are not like you want up to the minute information.
Right. Like if you were asking what a bufo toad is, perfect.
Yeah,
if you were asking, who invented the light bulb, excellent, because those are finite answers that don't change.
What's different between this and like let's say a Surrey on Apple products or whatever?
Surrey accesses the web. But the reason I don't typically use Surrey, I'd even go Alexa over Surrey, because Surrey usually Surrey to me usually says like, oh, I did some searching on the web. If you open your phone, I'll give it to you. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to bother doing that.
Or even Alexa is essentially the same. Is that using AI technology?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
It's a variation of it, like a more simplistic version.
Okay. And I wonder what's better. And then it's just like cross-platform.
Well, Alexa's already limited in that it's more of a usable, I don't even know how to describe it, less of a database and more of executing apps.
Okay.
Where I think AI is going to be the future, now see if you can follow me here. I think AI in the future will be you talking to your phone, telling it to do something. Then your phone will be using different apps on your phone all at the same time.
Okay.
So imagine if you said, hey, phone, order me a Jersey Mike's and get my wife a vegetarian meal from this place. Your phone's going to go in. It's going to go to DoorDash to get yours. It's going to go to Postmates for hers because it's not on DoorDash. It's going to do everything for you just on the back end using apps. And it'll say, like, I did it.
A virtual assistant, like you
but it's
organize my emails.
But it's going to be working with all your other apps.
Okay,
so AI is just going to be like almost the go-between between like your email app, your calendar app, your DoorDash app, your Postmates app, everything. Your text.
So
and it'll just be working in the background for you for stuff like that.
And you could probably eventually say, tell your AI personal assistant to make me a Facebook page or research this or whatever you would tell a human assistant.
In theory, yeah.
And then it's able to, do everything non-physical.
Yeah.
Anything that requires intelligent thought.
Yeah.
Which is... If you think about it, like we're all obsessed with robots taking our jobs, like robots are going to be flipping these burgers, and
no, the physical jobs are good. They're fine.
Well, the physical jobs are like way
we'll
harder.
Be flipping the burgers,
and it's like way easier to make, intelligent software AI to work with the internet to do anything a human brain can do. It's like that advanced way quicker than the robot arm flipping a burger. It's like that's too expensive.
I have seen that. They have one of those.
The brain is easier to emulate than the arm.
Have you seen the old? I think it was like made in like the 90s. Or the early 2000s? The robot that flips burgers.
Yeah.
The best part of it, they still put a chef hat on it. I like that. It's demeaning. Put a chef hat on it.
If you think about it, it's like, the intelligence, like that progressed way faster. It's almost like, all right, the only jobs that will be left are for us, the dumb animals that can still do the manual labor.
Christine
will be used as human slaves.
I got a deal for you. Christine says Tom can pay me to use ChatGPT on his behalf, and I'll do it topless, and it can be ChatGPT, the T word.
I'll just pay you to be topless. You're way over
the AI is really. I don't want to be distracted from the glory that is you topless. My God.
That could be a separate job.
Way better.
You
I
should
don't even care about AI. If you walked in topless, I don't care about computers at all.
Yeah. That's all I want.
Yeah, I know what you look like, Christine. You're like that would be amazing.
Yeah, I just want the topless part. Like AI can't do that. I'm still like
I'll
I told
smash
Daniel.
This computer.
I still need to see that in person. I can't, like the videos and like the 2D images.
We discovered that yesterday.
Not the same.
You don't like a digitized booby.
No, yeah, I do. It's fine, but I'm saying it is better in person. And I don't think it'll get to a point where the digital will be better than the in person. Our brains haven't evolved.
Let me buy a real doll to set over there.
No, that's still weird.
They got talking real dolls.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but they're
And their mouth
weirdo. Yeah. Until they get to a level where you're indistinguishable from other humans, like Westworld. Like the Westworld concept.
Are you saying West or West?
West.
Okay. I thought you said Westworld.
I can't enunciate.
You're lazy mouthing today.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get out of here.
All
Anything
right.
to plug before we get?
Yeah, a couple things.
Go on,
We've got our 10-year ACT Live anniversary show coming up May 31st. We got Vince Taylor. We got Ken Miller. Ross McCoy is hosting an entire hour of stand-up before we actually do our live show from 7 to 9.
Indeed. And congrats to Ken Miller and the Real Laugh guys. I think they're celebrating 10 years.
No, really? Okay. Wow.
It's crazy. They've been doing it a very long time.
It was the same amount of time. Did they start? They probably started around the time that when we were doing 5
Or
days
maybe
a week.
5. It may be 5. But I know they're celebrating an anniversary. I saw it
Okay.
pop up today, and I love Ken. So
And also we've got our cruise coming up in September. It stops in 2 different places.
Mm-hmm.
One is that MCO private island that we're gonna do a beach party. We're actually in the process right now of confirming all the actual private events. We're doing a live podcast. We're gonna do some karaoke, some
there's a
a
theme
mediocre
park,
idol.
golf cart track out. There's a what is it? There's a go-kart track.
Is that our show?
theme park.
No.
There's a
That's
water
a different.
slide.
No.
Yeah.
There is a water slide on there. The ship is gigantic. Anyway, all the info is at TomandDanCruise2024.com.
Yes, sir.
Make sure to add the 2024. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Got it. What's up, guys?
Hey.
How you doing? Thanks for coming in, y'all. Nice to meet you. I'm Tom. Let me save this real fast.
We'll have you in.
Where's that goatee?
I'm sorry, that I said we'll see you tomorrow, but that is technically Friday's show. So that's
okay, that's fine.
that's Friday 1 and 2.
Gotcha. Thank you, buddy.
Are we cool playing this on Monday or Tuesday next week? I know we're promoting May 3rd. Yeah.
May 3rd. Yeah, as long as it's before.
Yeah. Okay. I figured it'd be better the week of. Is just usually so people, when we promote it a week earlier, sometimes it's, the people forget. So
Agreed.
cool. All right. I got a bunch of questions about celebration. So you can answer them.
This is Celebration expert right here.
Perfect.
Where am I sitting?
We're gonna put you right here where those headphones are on that microphone. Nice to meet you. I'm Dan.
Nice to
Pleasure.
meet you.
Thanks so much for being here. What's up, Scotty? Look at those. Are those the same ones I've commented on before?
Yeah. This is that company.
Mm.
Yes.
I gotta get new shoes, man.
What is it? Yes, we vibe. That's. And I think I.
As you can see, these are like 109 years old. They just match my.
Well, these definitely are not meant to last forever. But
let me get my
they're
cameras
fun.
here.
And I have purple ones for the soccer games.
Oh, right on. We're having a rough season. It's a little rougher season than normal.
Yeah, they're getting there.
We usually come out of the box like killing it.
I knew it would be kind of a. They had a lot of changes, so I knew it would be a little bit of a rebuilding.
Yeah.
Situation.
When you're seeing big name players go.
Yeah.
I'm just saving extra files. I apologize.
No worries.
4/26. All right. You guys have a good Wednesday so far?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Is it sunny outside? I've been stuck in here all day.
It
Is it
and-
melting, hot, and gross and disgusting?
No,
or
I think it's pleasant.
Pleasant?
It's not cool like it was.
A while
yesterday,
ago.
day before.
Yeah, yesterday was nice.
Yeah.
We had some rain going or something.
Yeah.
And it didn't end up raining. There we go. All right. I'm going to get in line for the little guy's room here. You guys need a drink or anything? A water?
Water would be great.
Yeah,
Griffin?
water.
Yeah. Thank you.
I should probably not cross my legs. There.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. There, I look better. It's very bright in here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I never noticed they have their names on their chairs.
Oh, that's fun. Ew.
All right.
Refreshed.
Well, you know, I stay in this one little hole over here all day, and I have a floater in my eyes that like is from drinking too much caffeine today. It's been a Wednesday, but we're having fun, man. We're having fun.
Forgot today was Wednesday.
I know. We've been calling it a Thursday all day. It's been an interesting one. All right, can you hear okay? Is that?
Yeah.
And you can hear yourself okay? Great. Then we got Scotty. We got better mics now. All right, that's saved. All right, T, would you like to start?
Yeah, we'll do a welcome back.
Yeah, and you want to put this, you're thinking Tuesday?
I think Tuesday 3. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got Scotty and Griffin here from the Orange County Regional History Center. How you guys doing?
Good. Thanks
Great.
for
My
having us.
megaphone's broken, y'all. I'm sorry. Normally I give you a
I didn't
real...
get you new batteries for that.
Well, I give you a real, like a good radio shock jock mega blast. And
What happened to our theme song?
Yeah.
We had a theme song.
here,
A couple.
I deleted
yeah,
a lot of...
yeah.
I can give you a new one. Here, listen to this. Here, listen. You got to be real quiet, though. Okay. Okay, that's all you get. That's all you get. It's like, it's so
That's
weak.
helpful.
I know, it's so weak.
AI created all this art, and it's so throwaway now because now we're like, we'll have AI just do it again. It was like that whole theme song we liked. We're like,
Yeah.
we lost it. We'll have them do it again.
I've gotten so bored with AI now that I don't like. I'm back to nothing.
It was a toy.
And now,
for a
yeah,
while.
now I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
back to like nobody can do anything.
Now, before we talk about the Lunch and Learn with
Yes.
Griffin on May 3rd, let's talk about some of the renovations and even the summer camps that the History Center is doing right now.
Sure. We'll start summer camp on May 28th. Correct me if I'm wrong, Griffin. That's you work in that
think so.
department. I think so. And I
Hold
will.
on a second. Are Tom and Dan on the couch? I'm kind of digging y'all's vibe.
TheHistoryCenter.org for all information. It's easy
Yeah,
enough.
it
No, absolutely. But the summer camps are selling out, so folks who are interested in them shouldn't sleep. Because they're going quickly, and it's a very affordable summer camp, as well as having awesome topics, and then our early and late care are part of the tuition, which isn't always the case. And
Summer camps are super important in my world because it's kind of how we discovered what my daughter was into.
Yeah.
She's been to almost every summer camp. I think she did one of y'all's. She's done all all of the different people we work with that have amazing summer camps. She loves them and has been a big part of that. In fact, she did one that was dance, and that's how we discovered that she was really into dance. So if you don't know, I mean, you'll never know until you try. I would put your kids in some of these camps because you never know what they're going to get into. It's cool. It's like a lot more fun than being bored at home.
we've got talked about the renovations. Our lobby is being renovated right now. And so pardon our dust. That's been a renovation that's been coming for a while, and we'll be relaunching our store. We're getting all kinds of cool merch to be in there. In that area, though, right now, folks might want to drop by. We have these exhibitions that we're calling pocket exhibitions now because they use pockets of the museum that aren't being used. And the one that we have right now is about the FIFA World Cup that was here in 1994.
When we had the soccer ball on the
exactly on the City Hall.
Yeah, I went to some of those games. I still have my FIFA '94 shirt.
Yeah,
I can't fit in it, but I mean, I still got it.
Yeah, the World Cup coming to Orlando was gigantic.
Oh, it was a massive deal, man.
Yeah.
A massive deal.
And we've got our elevators are being worked on too, but this is all good stuff because they needed to be updated, and we're digital signage is coming in, which as the marketing guy, I'm excited about that. And then the updates that we've talked about on the show previously that are happening gradually throughout the exhibitions, updates of language, updates of putting different artifacts out, so each time you come there's going to be something fresh.
I love it.
Is there a timeline that you guys are like, this exhibit is only going to be around for X amount of time, or do you kind of see the popularity and like keep pushing it if it's popular, change it? Like, when do you decide to change?
It's a great question because usually an exhibition will have like a very tight kind of window, and which frankly helps you from the marketing side, being able to say get in there.
Yeah.
But Figurehead, the one that you guys have come to visit before,
so
has been so popular that we're keeping that around. We're actually going to keep it open until February 2nd.
Okay.
And in that last part, don't worry, people will know. We're talking about how to market that. I think what we're going to be doing is calling it Figurehead Closing Time, and
nice.
Little music
We
play
had
there.
listeners go last month. Like I was like, wow, way to strike where the iron's hot, Richard. If you're listening, Richard.
Yeah, we'll be doing some cool stuff. That's going to be followed by a yet to be titled awesome exhibit about the city of Orlando turning 150 years.
Cool.
And that'll be a community curated exhibition.
Oh, wow. So some
stay tuned.
pieces that are currently in people's homes or could be, or
no, but a majority in our collection. The person, whoever
like donated it, or
somebody notable, an influencer, perhaps people who host radio shows, will get to pick something from the collection that resonates with them.
Ooh.
Or it may be something that's borrowed from another collection.
Very cool.
There are going to be 150 of those items. And
that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Very, very cool.
All to celebrate the history of Orlando, the 150th birthday. Oh, that's cool.
What's your favorite thing in Orlando? Just off the top of your head. I have one I'll go first.
Okay.
Rabatage. Are you familiar with Rabatage?
No.
Where the old...
It's new.
Did I take yours?
Yeah.
Did I take yours?
Well,
over by where the old Bubba Lou's Bodacious Barbecue used to be on Lee Road, there was an area that they tried to make fancy, and they put a fountain.
It's technically Winter Park.
Yeah, and they put a fountain, and then they put a
about.
TR fire grill.
Yeah.
It's a Miller's Ale House.
There was a Miller's Ale House, and then they put the fountain, and then when they went to name it, the guy was like, I got an idea. Let's call it
I always get a little mournful. I always get a little mournful in that stretch of road because, of course, there used to be Tom and Jerry's. And
Lee Road.
Yeah. My wife, sometimes my wife will look at me and she'll be like, kiss me like we're at Ramadhan. And I'm like, I dip her down and I smooch her good, Scotty. That's my favorite. Did I take your? What's your favorite part? Go ahead.
I was gonna say Mickey Mouse. I'm sorry. Let's talk with Griffin. So because let's talk about lunch and learn because I like this idea and because everybody should be learning something at all times. Like I feel like
God, he's gonna give us the speech about get to work.
No. It's just like there's a lot of waste and people like not consuming any sort of information at all.
But you do have a time. You have a time anxiety about like if you're eating lunch, you should be learning something.
Well,
you're big on that.
Someone on TikTok described life like they summed up life as like, "Hey, it's short. You should live it doing things you love and learning as much as possible." That seemed pretty simple. You know what I'm saying? And like, how can you disagree with doing what you love and learning, consuming as much as possible? And I agree with that. Like, the more you consume, I just feel like you're a better person for it. The more you know.
Sure.
Anyway. There should be a star on a rainbow.
I'm one of Orlando's greatest consumers. I'm constantly just buying and throwing things away. Is that what you mean?
Let's talk about Lunch and Learn. What is it? It's on May 3rd.
Yeah. So Lunch and Learn, we have a 45-minute lecture sounds boring, but I'm going to say 45 minutes of fantastic history.
I like that.
Yeah.
Pump it up.
That you either pay and you get a pub sub meal and or you can bring your own bag lunch and listen in and learn some history, or you can come in via Zoom. So really, there's no excuse why you shouldn't come. Yeah.
Gotcha. I love it.
I like the Zoom element of it too for anybody that can't come in person. So, and this particular Lunch and Learn is about the town of Celebration, Florida, which. It's funny because
bit of a mystery to a lot of people, man.
Yes.
I know the urban legend of it. At least I think I do.
Well, now I kind of feel like Celebration is chill and we're cool with it. we're not like at first we were kind of like, what the hell is that? That looks crazy. But now we're cool with it. And now the one that we're like, what the hell is that? Is Golden Oak. I feel like Golden Oak, we're all looking at it like, what the hell is that? like sort of like it's the new celebration, but you're a lifer, right? Like
I am born and raised.
Never met a celebration lifer.
Dude, I think you're the only human actually born and raised in Celebration, Florida.
Yeah. So
are you like?
It's like being born and raised in Old Town. Kissimmee.
It's like Stranger Things. Like you're the precious experiment that escaped celebration, and we got to protect you, keep you underground, and feed you Eggos.
So tell us about Celebration, because I'm sure a lot of people don't even know the history of it.
So it's a long storied history, hence the 45 minutes. But it really started with Disney's development. They wanted to create a community, and they had all this extra land left over from the 1960s when Walt Disney bought it to like develop his Florida project. So Walt Disney actually had an original idea for Epcot, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow.
Yes.
But that was a little bit too extreme. Yeah. And after he passed away, all of his people were like, we're not doing that, because it was
that old man was crazy.
Yeah.
He was talking to a mouse all the time.
Everybody be smoking.
My God. I heard the mouse smoke too.
Cigarettes will be free in every mailbox.
The whole big ball filled with cigarettes.
So yeah, they took away all the crazy ideas like a temperature controlled dome and a big underground car system during the
so they took all the awesome parts of it.
Let's make a regular town but no smoking.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
The underground highway and the temperature dome. That's what I want.
It's really nice though. I mean, did they make really it sort of like it was just like was it considered like an upscale community?
Yeah, so they wanted to basically keep it within the Disney standard, and they chose new urbanism as like their framework, which basically means walkable, diverse, have a lot of parks, have a lot of multi-use areas, and that kind of fit in with what the vibe of Disney of like, community diversity. So it's almost theatrical in a way.
Yeah.
But I remember I've lived in Orlando since 2000, and I remember Celebration.
He likes to brag. I'm sorry.
Always. No. I came from Miami, but it's funny because
another brag.
There was there is no place like Miami is a lot older, so there's no new communities that are cookie cutter exactly. Like they started building that later on, like not in the 80s and 90s.
Right.
And I remember
a lot of custom stuff
in Central Florida. I remember Celebration, like going over there when they do events or they do the fake snow and stuff. Then
I love the fake snow.
And people used to go to Celebration to see the lights and it was a destination.
I just felt like I didn't belong there.
No.
I felt like I didn't belong there. Like I would look around and I'd be like, these people are better than me.
But it's like we're in Baldwin Park right now,
which is kind of like a celebration.
But at that time, I remember being like, whoa, this is crazy. That everything, and then there was like urban legends about it, like every house is exactly the same, and and
all the wives are mind programmed.
It's a Stepford
like the
wives.
Stepford wives.
Yeah, and then it's
they're
like
sex robots.
And then you never have to leave. Like the grocery store's right there. Everything's walkable. And there's parks and stuff. It's like this own perfect little community.
Why do people frown on that though?
So actually, it's interesting because you said, it's going to be walkable. Everything's there. Well, actually, Disney sold the town, the downtown area in 2004. And that's when things started to kind of return to like normalcy, or how people perceive normalcy.
Right.
So it's owned by Lexin now, which is like another company. But now there's no really close grocery store or anything. You have to go drive out. And the houses are very different. But there's different styles of houses. So you can have like a coastal style, or you can have a Spanish style, but your style has to stay within the style.
Yeah.
So there's
I have that
organized diversity.
Yeah.
Organized diversity.
I live a street over, and I can't make my door whatever color I want.
Exactly. It's like that, and people hear about these pattern books, and it's like, oh my gosh, the pattern book. It's like, yeah, but you can't, put a 20-foot plastic flamingo in your yard. It's basically that.
Yeah. And that's un-American.
Yeah. So it was. I think it was
you
just.
you also can't have your plumbing truck parked in front. Like there's I think it's as far as association goes, and that's where it's like we're kind of used to it with Baldwin, but
we couldn't have our curtains.
Ultra association.
The reason we have gray curtains and red on the inside and white on the outside is because they're like, excuse me, sir, you cannot have gray and red curtains on the exterior.
Yeah, that's
they must
celebration.
be white.
We got a letter.
I was like, I got to buy a second set. I was so mad.
And
So did your parents grow up in Celebration?
So my parents.
Or your parents raised you?
I was raised in Celebration. My parents were actually one of the founding residents. So they were one of the very first people drawn out of the hat to get, because how they sold the houses originally was it was a lottery system. So you entered and they would choose your name out. So my parents got picked and they bought a little cottage. And it's not because they're super Disney fanatics. It's not because they wanted like total uniformity. It's because the pricing was better than buying up a fixed like a house in Winter Park and fixing it up. And they figured, hey, Disney knows how to do stuff well. It looks like it's going to be a good community. Sure, let's go for it. And they've been there almost 30 years.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then a lot of love for you in the chat room, by the way. I like telling people that.
And then what other things about Celebration? I know that I think didn't they go through some lawsuit like when the transition there was some and that had to do with the association and all that.
Yes. So there was a few, but the one I recall is the transition from Lexington. Disney, basically sold it to Lexington, and the condos were attached to all the downtown areas above the shops. So people who lived in the condos were not super excited that not enough care and attention had been put into maintaining the property, because now it's part of Lexington, which owns a bunch of other properties. It doesn't have that special Disney touch, right? So that's one of the main ones when doing research and asking around and hearing, it still trickles down today. I mean, there's still deep-rooted, spite.
With residents.
Sure. I'm sure at the time when Disney was deciding to did people look at it like Disney turning their back on the community? Or?
Oh yeah, some people left because it wasn't Disney-defied anymore.
Gotcha.
Some people, didn't think it would be held up to the standard of Disney, but a lot of people still do love living there, and they say, "Hey, no, this is Disney's town, and we're gonna keep it up." Basically, a lot of Disney employees live there, executives and designers and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot.
I want them to turn in what they turned Davenport into, which is a giant community of Airbnbs that all the Florida trash people go and visit.
We should get all our families together and all pee in a pool together. You want to do it? Let's do it.
Because
disgusting.
Around Disney World, there is these towns of huge Airbnb communities with all vacation rentals.
It's actually not allowed in Celebration.
No, I know. That's why.
Well, in the area,
but as soon as they let one in, it's going to take over like a virus.
Gate, where Tom and I partied before, you walk outside at 8 a.m. and it's nothing but hungover dads in slides pulling the trash out, and none of them live there.
Piles of trash.
Wait. Champions Gate is a place to go party? Is that what?
No, I mean
family
reunion.
Just happened.
No, it's family. I've always made the joke there are 0 champions there.
A lot of gates. And to keep the people in.
It's called the Rorschach. It's called the Rorschach.
Yeah. Anyway, so is there any other weird facts about Celebration? Now, obviously, if you want to know more, May 3rd.
Isn't there a time capsule? There's got to be a time capsule, right? Where they fill it full of and they put a Mickey Mouse doll in there and a pipe and.
I think the school had one, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Give us a couple more facts if you got any off the top of your dome.
My favorite fun fact is that there's a splash pad down in the community, downtown area.
Okay.
And it has all of these, it's supposed to be like a big compass where, water jet shoots out and kids can run around in it. And it has all the names of influential people and places that contributed to Celebration. And for 10 plus years, it had Walt Disney's name spelled W-A-L-D. Wald Disney.
That's how you say it.
Why? How did that happen?
I have no idea. I
Y'all
think it
want to
was
see
just,
Walt Disney?
I think it was an oversight that, and then once somebody,
How
Yeah.
can it be that
You
bad
love
of
this.
oversight?
You love these.
Yeah. What's like no one. I mean, in
Well,
the install process.
We did shot glasses one year that we handed out to all our listeners that had our show name spelled wrong.
yeah,
Yeah,
also,
well,
like-
we're not Disney, a $1 billion
I mean, to
corporation.
some people we are. To some people we are. And I'm Piglet. That makes you poo. That makes you poo. You're poo.
And then when you were growing up in Celebration, it must have been like the iconic, childhood of like
Sounds amazing.
Or
Or was there a stigma? Because we don't know.
Well,
yeah.
I was a little emo child.
Really?
Noted by the nose ring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
I thought that was
push
cool.
you to go.
I thought that was cool. It's like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy,
You're
this
growing
is
up in-
spray paint celebration crazy.
Yeah. That caused you to rebel.
Celebration,
Yeah.
Celebration is making me so sad.
Yeah, so I like to view it as
Yeah.
like an insider, like I'm observing, but I'm very privileged to have grown up there, and I thank my parents for bringing me up there. And
Hell yeah.
we were extremely lucky, and I want to acknowledge that. But also, it's a town like everybody else. Just because it's pretty doesn't mean there's drama.
Yeah.
I mean that there's no drama.
There is.
It doesn't mean that there's like petty infighting in the community legislature.
Yeah.
It's a town like we have annoying teenagers run around and cause havoc.
Do you have your own cops in Celebration?
No.
Or is it Osceola PD?
So great question.
Wow.
Celebration.
That's twice he's gotten that. And normally, like you said it once, Scotty, and you said it the other time, and normally he goes, I know. He loves that.
No, I say it in my head.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were
I
on
realize
brand.
saying I know after someone
Yeah,
says great
it's a
question.
dickhead.
Yeah.
Dickhead.
I'm like, they won't like that. I'll just say it in my head.
Because you saw him smile. He's like,
Yeah. So Celebration isn't incorporated as a town. So it's just a community. So technically, like when I get mail and stuff, it says Kissimmee because it's still
ew.
part
yeah,
of
I like that
Kissimmee.
one.
Oh, Kissimmee, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
How do you get annexed from
that's
that?
disgusting. Oh my God, Kissimmee.
Yeah.
So we have
no
Osceola
offense to
County.
Kissimmee, but you know who you are.
God.
We all been to Kissimmee.
Oh, my God.
Kissimmee, you got Old Town.
Kissimmee is one gigantic closed down barbecue restaurant.
So we have the Osceola County police and stuff. So
Yeah.
And they still ride bison. It's crazy. They got to kick
Like Buffalo
yeah.
Bill.
They're kicking them with their spurs.
So
We don't have a lot of friends. You probably.
we make everybody.
We
me and
make
Dan
fun of
are-
everybody.
We can only hang out with each other.
We have alienated every town, every
Yeah.
business.
All the guests.
Yeah, every guest that comes in, we're crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, how is this something that people have to sign up for, or do they just show up May 3rd? Tell us about it.
So you can go to the historycenter.org and register. It should be under, I believe, events.
Beautiful.
And it should, the title is Celebrating Celebration, History and Perspective. I'll provide the history and the perspective.
I love it.
You bring
People-
the lunch.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it.
If you ever needed someone to do Deltona, I could do that one.
Hold on a
Oh.
second. Oh, we could tag team that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I
can
could tell
tag
you
team.
all about it.
I'll pitch that.
But
I'd like to see
my
it.
It's not going
wife's
to be pretty, though. And it's going to be a four-parter.
my wife's grandfather built Deltona.
That's true.
Wow.
That is true.
Yeah,
The Mackle brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It used to be- yeah. They also built Marco Island.
Yeah. And
which
guess
is
who
a
just
bizarre-
moved to Marco Island? Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
you moved to the wrong one.
Yeah, put that in the History Center. Put that, I can get you a...
He's
I-
more of a Deltona man.
for the 150 items,
Yeah.
we could have one as one Dog the Bounty Hunter feather. One feather.
Okay. Griffin, Scotty, thanks so much for
we
coming by.
appreciate
Thanks for
you
having
guys.
us.
Yeah, thanks for being here, y'all.
Again, thehistorycenter.org. That's where you sign up for the summer camps.
Yep.
That's where you get all the information about
Always
the lunch and learn.
changing. Something's always going on there.
Yep, yeah. So check out the website, and we will be right back.
All done. We're still on Twitch and YouTube now. Are we done recording
Yeah,
for the
we're
day?
done recording.
All right, guys. I'm going to tell you goodbye so I can